June 30th, 2026, at exactly 6 May we please have a roll call?
Yes, Mayor. Councilman Werner.
Here.
Councilman Gleason.
Present.
Councilwoman Leonard. Vice Mayor Langowski.
Present.
Mayor O'Connor.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Please stand and join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. All right, we have our workshop agenda. I assume we've got some presentations to get started with.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if I may.
You may.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry.
Disconnecting on here.
It's okay. Mayor O'Connor, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council, good evening, and thank you for being here this afternoon. Before we begin tonight's budget workshop, I'd like to introduce the folks that will be presenting to you. There'll be a number of items, and there's really no format other than what we've already put out. Mr. Stephen Bloom, I'm sure you probably know him. He's the Vice President of Infomark. That's the gentleman there in the brown suit. Lucas McDonald, who is the accounting supervisor. He's there to the right. And behind him is Ms. Natasha Sawani. She is the Director of Accounting. And Donald Laudermick, who's our accounting rep here he's actually in our office a few days a week.
Okay.
So also joining us is our illustrious members to my right, our staff whose contributions have been able to make this meeting possible, along with providing a lot of the institutional and information that's needed to put this budget workshop together. Okay, so tonight's budget workshop is an opportunity for the mayor and city council members to listen and also give input throughout the process. As you know, we're late doing this. This should have started back in April, but you hired me, and so we'll get things on track as we learn more. We've also included some supplemental information that I've either gathered from the mayor or members individually, and we try to incorporate that information as well in the presentation, so that way it hopefully answers questions as we go through the presentation. So with that, the presentation, Mr. Stephen Bloom, I'm certain he can walk us through, and we can begin our 2027 budget workshop.
Okay. So this would be here. See if I can do this without knocking anything down. So good evening. Again, my name is Stephen Bloom. I am the VP of Finance for Infomark. I have been just kind of a little bit about myself. I have been doing municipal budgets for about 15 years for several different cities, including the town of Hillsborough Beach. You might be familiar with that one. City of Williston. And I was around when the city was first formed. Not as direct, but kind of in the background. So I am familiar with the city of Westlake, and it's always been a very interesting and exciting project from the very beginning when Mr. Castle brought it to our attention. So with that in mind, I do want to kind of go through a couple things. The order that I have on here is a little bit different than your agenda, if that's okay.
Sure.
Just from the sense that I figured we'd start with your mid-year review before we hit the budget. And again, obviously, if you have questions, if you want to go through something faster, slower, please let me know. We're here to get you as much information and basically to kind of kick off the process. And again, I have a couple different things. I'll go back and forth on this here. But first, before I do anything, wanted to talk about your mid-year review. So what you have in front of you is the numbers are through April. So that puts you at about 58.3% of the way through your year. So anything that in terms of revenue that's higher than 58.3, that's good. Anything lower might not necessarily be bad. It could be timing, but it's always worth discussing. And you can see overall your top, revenue is 86% through, which is to be expected because ad valorem, your assessments is always top heavy as people take advantage of discounts.
Not to interrupt, but can you repeat that again? Anything that's below 50?
58.3
we would need to look at?
That would be basically right on budget.
Okay.
Now, not everything works like that, and I'll go through a couple of these. But you can see there, solid waste
Right.
revenue is a little bit behind, not terribly. State revenue sharing, that one's always a little bit tough to budget.
Can you unpack that? What exactly is that?
The state revenue sharing is just funds that you actually literally get from the state. Once a month, they, all the communities and everything will get a share of proceeds from different things. And then you get a piece of that. And once a month, it gets wired into your account.
And what's that dollar amount?
Well, the total budget is about 102,000. It's very small
We get $100,000 from the state of Florida?
for that piece of it. You get a couple other ones. You get communication service taxes.
Right.
You get, let's see, that's probably the only two. Some cities will get local local option gas taxes and a couple others.
Now, the rate at which these things come in, who sets that?
Oh, the state.
The state does. So the
Yeah.
communication is a set amount.
Well, if you ever, don't want to, you can't get to sleep. There is a book like this thick from the state that they do every year on every type of revenue that comes through and how it's calculated, just a massive formulas.
Of
But-
any of these revenues, aside from ad valorem, what does the city itself have input on? Garbage?
Garbage.
What else?
Well, you'll have indirect on your franchise fees, but it's pretty much set. now.
Gas?
Gas, you set the assessment rate.
Is that something we set every year, once a year?
Which one?
Like take gas, for instance, gas
No.
franchise.
No, you're
Was
good.
it
No.
once every 5 years, every 10 years?
No, normally you would set it in your ordinances and then it gets established. And then you can revisit it if you want, but normally that's done once and you'll see it there forever.
Okay.
Is
Unless
the gas franchise fee, is that natural gas or is it pumped gas?
I think that's your natural gas.
Okay, from the
Yeah.
utility. So that's, and is the state revenue sharing based on population?
I think
It's
that's
some of it.
Next point. So as the city grows, some of these ratios will grow with it.
Okay.
So again, obviously,
Which ones?
the one you just
Revenue
mentioned,
sharing.
state revenue,
Right,
communication service tax.
okay.
Those are the only two. There's a couple others that will probably be added.
And what
As
about
you go.
FPL?
FPL, well, yes, because that's going to be based off of
Based
usage.
on occupancy.
Yeah,
Okay.
more homes,
Yeah.
more
Okay,
electricity.
thank you, sorry, carry on.
So anyways, just these are kind of your money. The one thing I did want to mention a couple times through here is interest income. You don't budget for interest income. And we'll talk a little bit about your investment portfolio. But through April, this particular fund has got $232,000. It's just from, your investments.
Right.
And it's only a piece of the total. So again, we'll talk about that. But, during the budget process and certainly at any time, it's always good to be talking about investments. Yeah.
So the April portion is the half year portion?
Yeah.
Well, it's a little bit more than half, 58%.
Okay.
One month more.
Why is it the same amount in terms of remaining?
Well, because you don't budget for it.
Right.
Very conservative, because you don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, so the interest rates could go up. they could go
Yeah,
down.
I mean, in essence, I could have put amount remaining there, NA or something, just to show the fact that you don't budget for it,
Yeah.
therefore, anything else is additive to your budget is what we're saying.
Understood.
But again, it's a good snapshot to kind of see, obviously, 94% of your ad valorem is collected. That's good. Special assessments is about 98%. Special service taxes, you're at 68%. So, really good numbers. And then again, please, if you want me to just,
Understood.
but I wanted to show you expenditures as well. So the chart you have there on your right, it's one of my favorites. The red line is your budget, meaning again, if you're right on budget, you would be below that red line. And anything in blue those are each of your departments. Anything in green is not. And you can see the one in green is just a hair above, which it's at 58.9, and that's due to your solid waste contract increase. Otherwise, you can kind of go right down the list there, legislative, city manager, in good shape. Again, it's still only through April. But obviously, this is why we do this, is to kind of take a look at it and see, are there any, red flags? Is there anything, that especially as we're moving into the budget that we would need to know about? And obviously something like, solid waste
This is
contract.
through April.
That's
Every
through
one of these
April.
figures is through April.
Yep.
Okay.
Any questions on it?
Not yet.
Okay. So this is kind of the interesting one, your comprehensive planning services. So you may or may not have known several years ago, the state said that building and permitting had to be yanked out of the general fund.
Right.
And so, you have a separate fund in here, comprehensive planning, that not only covers your building permitting, but also your planning and zoning. And I think I saw there's some compliance in there as well. And so it's, this particular fund, if you notice, is what I'll call upside down, meaning that your revenue right now is not bringing in enough to cover your expenses. Now, that's not out of the ordinary because of planning and zoning, as well as compliance. And you have like your IT services, which is your GIS cost. So you're a developing city. So this is not, necessarily out of hand, but it is something that we've talked about, and the city manager as well is kind of taking a look at this. You want to always make sure that your permitting cost, that your planning and zoning costs are covering your revenue is covering as much of your cost.
Right.
And so that's got to be an ongoing
We're
thing,
not even close to that.
and you're not right now. The other thing to note with permitting is revenue coming in is not a straight line. When permits hit, when COs hit and all that good stuff shows, you never know, necessarily from month to month. And so normally we'll get to that when we get to the budget. I'm usually very conservative with the budget. This is a very aggressive budget. There $3 million for 2026. And again, you're only at about 700,000 right now. That might change tomorrow. You obviously have, and you've got commercial coming on board. So there's more stuff to it. I just wanted to, again.
Mr. Bloom, let me ask you, when the legislature speaks of enterprise funds transfers, is this what they're talking about? Okay.
No, it's a great point, though. Building permitting has to stay in building permitting. And that was why they did it, because there were cities that were trying to fund all kinds of different things and raising up their permitting costs to do it. So again, you're upside down right now, so it's not like you have extra money. But if you were, when you do, and eventually you will, then that for training, different building program, it's got to stay right where it is. Right. And so what we could discuss down the line is maybe taking P&Z out, depending upon how the growth does, and that will, have to let the city manager get some time to kind of look through that stuff.
In essence, our general fund is stopgap filling
That's correct.
this fund.
Mhm.
Now, at some point, does it get back? If you're not
almost
allowed, that money has to stay in there,
right.
no matter what. It can never go the other way. Even
Not building permitting.
paying back.
No.
Okay.
Now, again, you can take a look at like compliance. I've had cities that had significant code issues. Now, you're very young, you're very new, so you're not going to always see that. But sometimes there'll be a city. I had one that had like $800,000 code that got finally settled.
Wow.
And so that was put into their planning and zoning fund, and will, stay there and help them. Otherwise, their general fund was covering it.
Yeah.
But again, even if it's covering it, doesn't mean you're not constantly looking at it.
Right, but we're bleeding here.
So on your engineering permits and planning and zoning permits, those amounts are balanced out with the expenses to the same degree.
Right. So you've got building permits, you've got engineering permits. Now, planning and zoning would balance out ideally with your planning and zoning expenses. But your building is pretty close in terms of, so you got 580 and 64, and I'm lining that up with your 633.
So where is there a shortfall?
P&Z
P&Z board.
is the biggest.
Six,
We're
P&Z,
spending
$3,800. Exact. How
$274,000.
can these be exact to the dollar?
Oh, I rounded them. I round them for presentation, if that's what you're asking me.
Well, no, I'm just wondering, like revenue, is this, you balance it before it comes to us? So P&Z permits revenue is exactly 336, and the expenses is exactly
That's the
336.
budget.
Oh, that's the budget. So yeah,
Spending
Spending to the penny of what we're budgeting.
well,
we
and
just do it-
ideally you would be, you would be collecting as much as your
Well,
expenses.
so how can we track if they're performing properly or not, if you're just using the exact same?
Well,
figure?
in your actuals is where you're gonna look at.
Oh, this is
that.
budgeted, okay.
Yes, the first column budget is then actuals.
Got it.
So you can see, again, they're not performing to budget.
Engineering's good.
So there's two pieces to this. Are you performing the budget? And then are you breaking even?
And that's the annual budget or that's the?
That's the annual
the
budget.
April, all right, so we want to be around a little more than half.
Yes.
So engineering's fine. IT's okay. Legal services is great. P and Z is off the charts.
Is there a way to
Compliance
make
is
up
okay.
that between the revenue for planning and zoning
We're-
and the expenses? Why would we be expending more if we're not bringing in that?
That's a
revenue?
great question. So, and here's what cities do. And this is a piece where we're gonna have to dig into. It's called cost recovery. So you can set it up so that if you, let's say you have a planning and zoning permit and you collect $10,000. And through, they have to keep redrafting things or they keep coming back, it winds up costing 30,000. So you set up a system so that you can recover that difference. And some cities will get a deposit. They'll say, hey, we want you to put down a deposit. Again, these are big projects, big number.
We don't have that now. That's
I don't
different.
know. I have not seen that. And again, that was something that was brought up already, as we started to kind of dig into this, it being new for us all, really. And so that was just kind of one of the things that, yeah, that's a piece of what we have to do.
That P and Z is really where it's out of control. Okay.
Okay, and then the last fund I wanted to share is your your housing assistance program. Again, the top line there is your revenue. So again, this is on the other side of the equation. You budgeted a conservative 300,000 and through April, you already have collected in about 619,000. So again, the money stays here, stays in that fund. It's not like it's gonna, but obviously as you use it more and it kind of grows, so will your expenses.
Now, does the interest earned on this fund have to stay in this fund?
Yes.
Okay.
On the 200% of the revenues for Happy, those revenues come from building permits and resales.
Yeah, right there is your donation line. See how you got about 523 of the total is
So-
coming from the donations that the permitting.
So it's coming from new building permits for new homes and resales. So because on the previous slide, you showed that the revenues from building permits is way below the
Mm.
budget, that tells me that the majority of that money is coming from the resales. Is that correct?
No.
Every household.
Huh?
No, it's based on houses sold,
That's what I'm saying.
right? And,
Necessarily
Not
good.
and not necessarily building
That's what I'm
permits.
saying. I'm saying the majority comes from the resales.
No.
No,
New homes as well.
New homes.
New townhomes, new
Well,
homes.
but the new homes would be reflected in the building permit revenue.
Yeah, but
it's separated.
It's also if you want to put a fence in, a pool in, there's something,
Yeah, those are nickel and dime.
Like a Minto request when they pay into the,
Right, when they take out the building permit for a new home, they put in the $1,500. But our revenues on the building permit side on the previous slide were way below the anticipated.
So the way
I don't
it
think
works
there's a
is,
correlation.
yeah, when you get the money in, and the city gets that money in, it's immediately split. So this is only representing the permitting piece of the total revenue received. And then the second here, the donations is the other piece. So one, again, the transaction occurs together, but they're immediately split
Are you
apart.
seeing the donations are from the resales,
They're really more from the home builds.
from the home?
Yeah, when when Mintos comes in, puts it in there, putting the money in.
There's far more new homes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that comes from,
That's
that goes into the donations category.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, this housing assistance fund, that's where it goes.
Yeah. Okay, so as a part of the mid-year review, wanted to kind of acknowledge some accomplishments. I won't go through all of these. So you have the slides, but obviously retaining the city manager. Awesome, right?
Big deal.
Important part of what you were accomplished. Having a happy, a program manager. The idea of issuing more in housing assistance and really just a really nice program. And you can kind of see going through it. And not to be outdone, continued municipal education is, it sometimes gets lost, but it's certainly important to keep that going as your staff is growing. Now, on the other side of that, though, challenges. And again, I don't think anybody has not heard of the new property tax and legislation there, but certainly staffing challenges, and some other, different things that we kind of put on here. This is something that as you go and continue to develop your budget in the process in the city, you'll start putting in more goals on a department by department basis. And then when you do mid-year reviews, then you would be comparing the goals to, what has been accomplished. But this was kind of top level for you, just to kind of give you a little bit of a piece of just some of the things here. Okay, so again, wanted to take the opportunity to kind of show you your investments as well as the interest rate on each one. The total I mentioned earlier, just the general fund, all interest earned from that time period is $325,000. And again, the housing assistance fund keeps its, and then the general fund keeps this, but this is kind of showing you exactly where each of the accounts are. Now, one of the reasons to mention this is right now the city is using the Florida statutes investment. We'll call it a policy. It's not technically a policy, but they're guidelines. As the city's growing now with the amount of money you have, I think it's definitely going to be important to start developing your own investment policy based on that statute. And so certainly wanted to mention that today because that's something that we need to do. And basically what that does is it's going to outline exactly what investments, who's going to do the investment, what is the percentages in each investment, so you kind of making, again, the concept of a diversified portfolio makes, great sense, not having anything too risky, being very safe with your investments is always important. And that way your policy will outline that. So you're not, where is everything invested? Well, it's going to be invested by your policy.
Right.
But in the, before we have this, certainly wanted to show you that everything is earning interest, earning solid interest. Again, we'll see where the Fed fund rate goes this year. For the rest of this year, I think they've held it steady. But again, wanted to be able to make sure you saw your money where it was.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this alone, our worst performing account is the brokerage account. It's got a little over 3 million in it.
Yeah.
Which just tells me that money would have been better suited in like a CD or
Well,
you
that
could have grabbed a
particular,
CD
yeah.
for 4%, and it also means that fees are being paid in terms of commissions and broker
It
fees
would be, it's in
when
that.
it doesn't have to be,
No,
because that's literally our worst performing account.
yep. And so that's part of where this discussion is. to
Yeah,
get
so I have
feedback
an
and
issue
say,
with that. I mean,
where do we go with this? So that's in a very safe governmental, like mutual fund. That's where the money's at.
I mean, it could be in a
So it
safer
could go
fund and be
into-
paying no fees.
Well, right, again, CDs,
Yeah.
money markets, again, very safe, obviously. And
Yeah.
do it better. So, and that's why we have these.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
And I believe you mentioned to me that that's your plan to come. before
Yeah,
the council.
I'm working with
Okay.
these guys right
Yeah.
now to put together an investment policy.
Okay.
So we can definitely do better than this, that's for sure. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go back up and start the budget piece of this with your calendar. So this is your roadmap for the process. For those of you who have spent any time going through this trim process, it's very rigid, very specific. And so it's always important to make sure you've got everything mapped out, because there's all kinds of advertisements, when different resolutions have got to be established. And just so you know, you cannot have your hearings on the same day as the county or the school board. So now you start to take September with, the holiday and really starts to shrink.
Is this our actual calendar?
This is your calendar.
The green days, right?
Those are, I highlighted the important greenways. Obviously, you've got the first one checked off for today with your workshop. But you've got on the 16th, you've got some things to do, including,
Wow.
your tentative millage rate and your preliminary assessment rate. Again, you start with your max amount. Cannot, once you set those, you cannot go higher. Only can go lower. And then you've got your next budget workshop on the 4th. And then that gets you through to September, where you get to have 2 more public hearings. First one is tentative, second one is the final go.
Is there any data that we will have on the 16th that we don't have today?
No, other than, well, it depends upon what discussions are today. So a lot of times, if the council says, hey, you know what, we want this project in, we'd like this taken out, then we would have modified the budget. In terms of the tax data, no. The certification, we just got the
What about
certification.
revenues?
Well,
Revenues don't, so if something COs today, that's not included until next year's, right?
that's correct. So January 1st is when,
So revenues are locked.
revenues from, the property, the tax collector has locked their
What we
rates.
don't know. What we don't know are revenues for the following year because of what's gonna happen with the
Absolutely.
legislature.
Yep. And we do have a couple of slides, which, basically putting on our guessing game.
Right.
But we'll give you some idea on what the ramifications are of some of these changes, but you do have, another year to do that. Now, I will mention that in January 1st, when assuming the vote goes through, there are other budgetary processes that have to be now more transparent. So we will have to bring in front of you in January a calendar already for the budget year that has to be posted. And we'll go through and work with staff on some of the other things, but I did want to mention, it doesn't get quite as much noise as the actual property tax one. There were some other transparency type items that they've
Now,
already.
obviously, we have to budget considering that the referendum will go through.
Yes,
Once we lock in rates, there's no second bite at the apple, right?
no. Now, again, you're budgeting now for this year.
This would be the following,
The following year, you already know, you'll know in November.
whether or not.
And then I believe that they're gonna have to do some minor tweaking to some of the language. I think the bill want to go
Well,
back into
we'll
committee
see.
for a second or two,
We'll
but
see what happens.
you're gonna know exactly what's gonna happen. Now, what you won't know until the first quarter of next year is what else has come onto your tax roll. Because unfortunately, like some of the other cities that are gonna have to go through this, you're growing.
Correct.
So you'll have more homes online to help out,
More homes,
Afraid-
more commercial.
more commercial, which again, as you know,
We'll
it's
know
not
of
gonna be affected.
we'll know of non-resident,
homestead.
non-homesteaded.
Yeah.
Projects that are coming.
So you'll have a lot more information
Everything
going
needs to
into
be
it.
CO'd by the 1st of January.
Well, yes, before then, yes. Because it's gonna get locked
The
in.
1st of January, 2027.
7. Yep.
Got
So anything that's built and finished, into December, that gets CO'd, then it will show up. Otherwise, again, now you get to wait a whole another year.
Right, understood.
So again, you'll have, the 8th and the 14th will be your first and second hearing. And then obviously, on the 8th, you can still make changes. After the 14th, you can't. And so between the 16th and which really starts on August 4th, between September 8th, that's when the trim notices will go out. Okay, you'll start getting some phone calls from some folks. That's when they're going to get their piece of paper that says, hey, your taxes are most likely going to be this.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions on this? Okay.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now I will start going into taking a look at the budget document that we have. So again, this is the first kind of bite of the apple. A lot of these numbers are estimates at this point. top level type things as we kind of work through it. But I did want to mention the budget that you have in front of you is still using the same millage rate as you have this year, 4.6. And that number is actually a little bit higher now that I found it, but we got the final numbers. The year over year increases, I think, is now closer to 1.7.
Wait, say that again?
So in the end of June, we get a preliminary number. And then the property appraiser does not send out the certified number until, I think, yesterday or the day before. So between the time I put these slides together.
What you're saying is it's closer to an increase of 1.7 versus
Yeah,
1.5.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I expected that.
We have in here budgeted right now, your assessment at $336.92. The new units we have on there is obviously higher. It's about $1.2 million.
So it's 3816 units, right?
Yes, with that, yep.
That's
36
a non-ad valorem
That is your non-ad.
assessment.
Mhm.
Okay, and then what's our cost on that? Because it's
Yeah,
usually for the most part a wash.
it is for the most part
It's,
wash.
that's the 3% fee? for
Yes.
the Solid waste?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, so what we pay is it's usually within, it may cost us a little bit, but it's. Can we check that? Can we see?
Whatever
think
we
we
take
did pay a
in, we
little
pay
extra.
back. so-
Yeah, it always works out to be close,
Yeah.
but
I think we paid a little bit more last year.
yeah, we always pay a little bit because of timing and.
So we have in the budget right now, and I think we have to kind of firm this up, 1.6 in there. So we do have a differential, but you also have, keeping in mind,
As an expense? or
as an
a-
expense.
Yeah, so let's,
But you also have solid waste, your franchise fee here, that's another 250.
but it's okay for us to make it better.
But we'll true that up a little bit now that we've got all the final numbers in here to make sure we've got that set.
Okay, yeah, because we want to make that as close to the same figure as possible.
Mhm.
Not counting the franchise fees.
Understood.
Franchise fees should be separate.
And so right now, your budget, because we kept the millage rate the same, includes about 3.6 reserves to kind of continue with, Young City growing for the future. And again, what that
6 million. in
Yeah.
3.6 million.
What's the general rule in terms of what do you want in your reserve versus your annual budget?
And normally again, this is ignoring if you've got big projects coming up. Normally you want to have a quarter, 3 months, 25% of your,
Now, what of the possibility of half your revenue disappearing into thin air?
that's where it starts to become a little bit different. And that's why you have these discussions
Okay.
to say,
Understood.
again, standard, 25%, but that's far, again, if you're building something at City Hall, for example, or
Reserve.
And also the reason why we have mid-year budget reviews and quarterly financial statement reviews and these kinds of things is so that we can have that discussion at that
Right.
time. So.
Okay, so this assumption is that we're keeping it at 3.6, which is a bold assumption in my opinion, because I think it needs to go up.
well, and again, that's definitely why. we want-
Yeah, that's why we're here. I get it.
And so we've got in here, the revenues are going up by about 1.9. And again, it'll go up even more now that we've got the final numbers. And then an increase of spending. So, and that's the interesting part here. Really, you're only increasing your spending by 428,000 year over year, and your revenue is going up. So again, well, this is the last time I'll say it. This is why we
Now,
start this.
we're gonna go line by line on the whole budget, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why are the expenses going up?
More
Oh,
homes,
different-
more
different- I mean, solid waste contract went up. That's one piece right
more
there.
homes.
CPIs and different things.
The contracts, the law enforcement contract that we have went up 3%. We just got notice today, it'll be on the agenda for July 16th.
General,
These are all assumptions at this point.
Correct.
yeah, we're gonna go line by line.
So you're anticipating that expenses will go up.
Do we have a number on how many properties are homesteaded within the city? Is it like 85%?
We do.
We do.
He's
I
gonna
have
get
some
to it.
slides.
Oh, okay.
That was in the property assessors matrix.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that.
Yep, there's
Just because
a
yeah.
supplemented set of slides when we get through this.
This may be a great time to announce, I don't know if anybody's been keeping track or not, but we did receive both of our appropriations from the state. We did not get line item vetoed, so we got 600,000 towards phase one of the park, 203,000 towards transportation.
Right.
And I know we have it budgeted, but I know the park money required a match, right? So that's
Sorry, 50% and 25
Right.
on the other.
So let's make sure that that all is in the budget.
It will.
I know we budgeted for it
Yes,
and we didn't spend it,
right.
but now we'll have to.
So once we get an agreement from the state, that's when we'll
Okay.
amend the
Let's
budget or
just
put
make
it
sure
in the
that the
budget.
money's in there.
Absolutely.
You know, that we account for it.
And then I mentioned a little bit earlier, I did decrease the comprehensive planning budget, meaning it was at 3+ million in 2026. I lowered it to about 1 million. Same with spending. So again, that's going to be another area we'll have to take a look at. And then the housing assistance budget, you got an increase of about 600,000. And then your expenses, obviously, well, it's going down, but year over year, you obviously now have a manager that's in that
Right.
particular.
Now that gets paid from that fund.
Correct.
So you're saying from 2026 to the future budget?
And we do have in here,
Sorry to interrupt. Some of that, so some of Happy was being administrated by the general fund prior to us hiring
I did see
a
that.
director.
Yeah.
Now, is that now taken out of that?
yes,
That's accounted for in here
the
somewhere?
manager is 100% in the housing assistance. fund.
Okay, good. So there should be a decrease
Mm.
from the year prior. Okay, understood.
And that's part of why the general fund only went, it's a piece of why the general fund only went up so much, because you did have some decreases.
Okay.
And this is just a look at the revenues in terms of breaking it down, the same view that you saw. Like I said, property taxes is a little bit lighter than it will be once I revise the numbers.
Do we not receive that piece of that penny's infrastructure sales tax? Do we not get any of that?
No,
And then we don't get gas taxes, but there should be
A half penny or a penny.
something along those lines.
well, listen, what that requires is an ordinance be adopted by this board, and we just need to follow up with the county.
Okay, can we
see-
work on that?
Yeah, we can. I'm
We need every
already.
penny we can get.
No, I agree.
I've been crying about that for 3 years.
I agree. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
So let's see.
Wait, before you go, Stephen, the gas tax, okay, we had to spend a large portion of that on road improvements
Roads.
and those kinds of
Fair
things,
enough.
okay? So we might have to have some sort of ILA
In
with
the
some
local
improvement
with
districts.
Sid, yeah. I
Yeah.
figured
But
that.
we will make that a priority.
Thank you, sir.
So we have the breakdown of, again, here's the spending where you can see the different pieces. So city manager coming down, finance coming down. Some of them are kind of level. So again, it's
City manager is actually coming down?
Yeah, why is it coming down?
Well, there was like last year, I guess you guys had $50,000 in a line item for public relations or something like that.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Makes sense. That was in the city manager's budget.
It was overestimated?
Ken had, no, we had a PR firm. I remember Ken had that in there. For,
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
city manager's budget.
yeah, that he would pay out of his.
Okay. Comprehensive planning, again, I already kind of talked about this, but you can see I was much more conservative. And what the expectations are, hopefully it comes in higher,
I'd rather be conservative.
yeah. And then here's happy, or housing assistance, again, nothing in here that kind of, it's basically, you can see the program manager, that full line, full dollar amount is in there for you.
Can you go back to the previous slide?
Sure.
On the building permits, you said you're being conservative and hopefully it'll come in higher.
Mhm.
The cost recovery comment that you made earlier
Mhm.
that we're not doing now, are you then assuming that we will have a new deposit requirement or?
I did not assume that in the budget, very conservative at this point. But
Okay.
yeah, if that's, something that the city is interested in doing, and there's some steps.
So that's where we'll be able to recapture.
Right, and again, obviously you got to get your P and Z team on board with that first. I just wanted to give you some ideas on what some other cities do.
Right.
And if there's any other ideas like that as we go through that, please
Yeah,
don't.
no, that's kind of,
Throw them at us.
yeah.
I didn't even know that that was an option.
Oh, yeah, because again, with like anything, you never know how many times they have to come back to the engineers to redo this,
Right,
redo that.
remarks back and forth,
Yeah.
it all costs money.
Yeah, it does. It's obviously hourly, so. And then housing, and then it gets, anything before I kind of move on from?
Can you go back to that last one
Sure.
real quick? So the program manager budget is 176,
Yes,
and that includes salary and.
that's fully loaded, yes, for you.
What else is in there? Just curious.
Well, it's good, the whole person, the cost of the person, their benefits and everything.
Got it.
So, but on that same point, the program manager does not operate as an isolated decision maker. I believe that program manager is also under the city manager.
She reports to the city manager.
Yeah, I mean, I'd let this, let's see,
So-
address that, but
Are we getting all of the 176,000 back out of the program?
I think if I'm understanding what you're asking, the only piece you wouldn't be, would be if you wanted to make a case that part of the city manager was spending enough time on it to put some more into that program. I don't believe that's the.
Yeah, but we would have like a cost allocation plan to do something like that.
Yeah.
Right now, this
It's
is
not the case now.
Not the case
straightforward.
now.
This is
Right.
very clean.
I mean, it's a great question, though.
No, I understand. Well, when we were talking about that, I believe it was a 7% was taken off of the revenues to cover the cost of that program manager. And what I'm thinking is the program manager doesn't operate as an isolated individual. They still work with the city manager.
That's
So
correct.
maybe it should be 8% or 9%.
Well, but we would need to have that.
I think you're talking about two separate things. I think you're talking about control, okay, of a contract versus the budget. So the budget is fine. I mean, there's no issues with this budget. It can always be amended. And I wasn't here for the 7% or 8%, but right now it's clean the way it is. There's no
I
commingling.
understand that it covers, the happy program is like self-contained.
Yeah,
The
Right.
costs are covered by the revenues.
right.
But what I'm saying, what I think I'm seeing here is that the costs don't necessarily reflect the fact that the city manager has some involvement in that.
Well, the city manager is involved in everything, right?
Right.
But for budget purposes, I'm paid out of the city manager's part of the budget general fund. This is a different fund. And so the happy program manager comes out of this fund.
I understand.
And anything related to the happy program comes out of this fund.
Right.
And
You're saying a percentage of his salary or
So
tangible
let's,
in the
let's,
budget.
let's
It could-
maybe say, call it overhead costs.
yes.
That's not reflected. in-
So it's not, Commissioner, and here's one of the things that my response to that would be. If we get to the point where we are doing that, we need a plan to do that. So that way, because right now, one of the items on the 16th agenda we're going to discuss creates this issue you're talking about. But for this,
Okay.
we would have a plan on how we're going to apportion this. But right now,
That's what I'm getting at. is-
yeah,
Okay.
and we only do that when, it's good to do that, but it gets to be more complicated when have someone manage that effort.
The
you
juice
know,
may not be worth the squeeze.
It,
to keep
it,
track of how much
it
time
may
you
not.
have.
Now, we do that for like community development block grant dollars and things that nature. You see a lot of that, but not on something like this. But we could. I mean, we could.
I want to make sure that the housing program has a marketing budget. Is that included in here?
No, but we could,
Let's make sure that.
We could-
maybe that
we could
becomes
add that.
Part of the program
Yep.
manager.
okay.
Oh.
But there should be some
So what if
Yeah.
you
Some
do it
dollars
for-
available.
Right.
Right.
Market the program and
Pamphlets.
So right now, when she's printing or coming up with collateral, I guess that's coming out of
City
city
budget.
budget.
I don't know where it's
instead
coming
of-
out,
No,
but
it's
I
gonna-
want to make sure it comes.
No,
out here.
anything that she does is gonna come out of this fund.
Well, no, I mean
Well-
now though, prior to.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Another line item.
It's on the plan as well. I mean, that's part
Yes.
of what I'm saying as
So
well.
let's either line item it or add it into the program managers.
I would,
Cost.
since it's gonna be paid to a different vendor, my recommendation would be
Line item.
light
Line
item,
item.
yeah.
All right, well, let's make sure that there's a full-blown marketing budget in order to market the program. Go wave that happy flag,
Yeah.
buy swag, whatever needs to happen,
That's good.
strictly for happy.
Mhm.
Okay, great. So I don't know, do we need to notate that or you got it?
Oh, yeah, I've got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Okay. So, we do have some slides on the effect of this tax change.
Yes.
I'm gonna go over the big pieces of it here, because I think what you're probably more interested in is some of the numbers, which is in a supplemental slide. But the gist of it is that the first year, the exemptions are gonna go up, the homestead exemption go up to 150,000.
Right,
And then they're gonna go up to 250,000. And so obviously, but just keep in mind, depends upon the value of the home. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily, everyone's gonna not get any property taxes, which was one of the things that was floated out there, maybe for the future. But, this is something that will obviously affect it.
So are we gonna get into the, as we sit today, when it goes from, if it goes from 50 to 150, the dollar amount impact?
Oh, yeah,
Okay, good.
right here, for you, right there at the bottom.
Mm.
So the 1.6 million dollars would be the effect. It's the third from the right.
Okay, hold on, sorry, give me 1 second. So 2025, which is not in existence, right? Because it's not
Yeah,
happening.
the initial stuff that they used was based on 2025, as they were trying to get us some numbers.
Okay, but we can't, our city can't track with 2025, we grow too fast.
Right. Well, again, most of this is not necessarily going to be because
Right.
every day you're growing.
Exactly.
So this is just to kind of give you a rough.
So forget 2025. But I would love to know 2026.
Well, that still gives us a snapshot of what the change will be and what we can expect.
So that'd be 2028 and 2029.
And I think this is conservative because we're using the 2025 value.
Now this, right, but what's not in here is any and all commercial and or non-homestead properties that we may have,
Okay.
right?
So we're gonna.
Right, yeah, it's not going to be in this number.
So
This
in
is-
essence, we are in the first year, that's what we're about 1.7 over, right? Am I correct? We're 1.7 over what we did last year. in
Yes.
Revenue. So that's wiped out.
That probably, yep, that would be wiped out, yeah.
Wait, it's a $900,000 difference from the number on 25, which is 783. That's lost revenue from the homestead exemption.
That's only a piece of it. The total
1.7.
is the 1.6,
Well,
unfortunately.
that's if the first year of the homestead proposition gets approved.
That's
2027.
that's what's on the ballot.
That's gonna,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Year
Right.
one is 150.
It'd be
Right,
28.
but I'm saying
2028.
from, if we look at the 783 is what we lose.
yeah, I see what you're saying. You're saying. the
We lose
incremental-
that revenue because it goes to the homestead exemption in
Yeah, that's a
25.
good point.
So we're gonna lose 1.6 million on the first year of
Yeah.
the proposition.
Correct.
But it's a $900,000 differential.
From
Right.
2025.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If we had lost money in 25.
which we
did.
did. Again, you're not, because you got the growth.
Right. Okay.
But it's a great point, because now we look in 2 years there, and now that number is basically 2.7.
Right, so it's.
And again, an incremental,
Right.
from 2025. So it's a great point, but obviously, yeah, it's the growth is the piece that just not many cities have.
Correct. That's what savings.
And it's gonna certainly be important. And again, can't tell you how important the commercial is. I know you guys have heard this before, over and over from other folks. Commercial, because again, eventually you're gonna get sales tax on top of that. Eventually you'll get fuel.
How does that work, the sales tax? How do we get that now?
You do.
And that's through that state revenue sharing? Got it.
Is that state, that's not state revenue sharing.
No,
is it?
there's a sales tax. There's a sales
There's a
tax.
separate line item for sales tax?
And the permits
And
too.
Yeah,
And
again,
what they told us is that once the business opens, it's about an 18-month delay before we see anything.
wow.
yeah.
And that comes from who? The Florida Department of Revenue?
You know, but you see it every 2 months.
Yeah, you'll get the revenue every month.
Well, what's the city's cut of the sales tax?
Penny probably.
Yeah, I'd have to look at it because it's based on so many factors. Like I was saying earlier, there's a book.
But that's the main figure, the 1.6.
The 1.6 is the big headliner here.
And then the following year,
Yeah.
2.7.
Yeah.
That's
So,
strange.
Just as a point of reference, one of the things we did, so this is based on a 4.6 millage rate.
Yeah.
In order to recover that 1.6 roughly, I figured based on your growth this year, because without it, it's a little bit lower, but your millage would have to go up to 5.6. And then the following year to 6.55.
And we wouldn't be able to get to that because we have the
Fire
fire
rescue.
rescue millage.
Yeah.
We can't, both to combine can't
Right, can't
exceed
be over
10.
9%, right?
10.
And that was the one piece, and I'm glad you mentioned it, that is not getting hyped up as much. So the year over year increase was 10%, it's gonna be capped at 5. So again, I think I figured that was about another 50,000
Right.
or so that they said, so,
Thank God we're a growing city.
yeah.
So we're painting a conservative, as
We always-
conservative as possible
Yes,
and anticipating it's gonna be better in the long run.
you know where you are with the house growth,
Yeah.
but it's not fixed, right? You don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow.
Right.
So you want to be conservative, especially when you're talking budget, when you're talking expectations. You want to, plan for the worst and be conservative in your budget and kind of know the middle ground in that. And that's kind of the numbers that they put together for us. And like I said, it's certainly in order to pass this along through the millage, it would be.
Mr. Vice Mayor?
Quick question for multifamily, if that ever does come, are they taxed the same as commercial?
You know, oh, no, I think commercial is much more than
Okay,
You
Then
mean the property tax?
Apartments.
apartments.
But you're saying is a tax is the same as it's.
the
property
rate
tax, right?
is the same.
None of them are homesteaded though.
We're talking
I know.
values.
Okay, right.
Well, I wanted to know if it was the same as commercial tax, multifamily units.
Yeah,
If I understand your question, dollar for dollar, it's the same
Okay.
As a commercial entity.
as a commercial
Right.
entity,
Yeah.
But you're talking based on
That's
the
revenue.
property valuation.
based on the
Value.
property value.
It's gonna be extra.
On the value of the land.
Right.
Yeah.
If we get any.
So offsets, I mean, I think most of you probably have attended something that has talked about how are you gonna offset this? A lot of that is still open to discussion. Impact fees is never a pleasant one, but that is certainly something that, some cities are looking at. I've heard some cities talking about special assessments, trying to piece out things. You already have one for solid waste, but that's another avenue. Again, the higher non-homestead millage rate, I think is certainly something that people are gonna look at. I do not know right now about the services or responsibilities with Sid that is, everything's on the table at this point.
yeah. With the impact fees though, mayor, vice mayor, council members, with the impact fees, it's a little different, because it can only be used for certain things.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's not really a big one. The special assessments is something I'm hearing from a lot of cities about right now. How do you make up that difference? And then obviously, like Steven said, there's a lot on there, everything.
yeah.
Any and everything has to be looked at.
It's certainly
Has to be
worth
looked at.
thinking about some of these things, but the fact of the matter is we don't have to truly work on them unless this does pass in November.
Yeah.
In terms of deferring additional services to sit like that would be an absolute worst case, Armageddon situation, which we don't have to really. We can think about them, but
Well,
We don't have to plan for
I think I understand that one more so than the rest of us, but right now we just need to go through the exercise and
Correct.
think about what could happen.
Right.
We wouldn't necessarily talk special assessment at the point of November when it passes. I think it'll pass.
Yeah,
It would be more a function of whether your conservative estimates are gonna be underestimated based on what's actually occurring in terms of increased suppressed, property value, valuation, new building permits and all that, that would compensate for the lost revenue from the homestead. Isn't that correct?
Every one of the variables that we've talked about today will change between now and November.
Right, so when we see a clearer picture, not when the election happens,
Yeah,
but
Right.
into
We'll
the
have a
year
year.
sometime,
yeah,
and you will have a year.
We'll have 1 year.
right?
right,
Really plan.
right, exactly. Exactly. And again, this is just the
And it's
First look
assuming
at it,
it
but-
actually does end up on the ballot. And assuming it does pass.
It's on the ballot.
It's on the ballot.
Yeah, there's legal challenges
I
though.
think there's some challenges that have been filed.
There's
So
no
we're,
constitutional writing, there's 2 lawsuits filed,
It'll be on the ballot, and it'll be passed.
shall see. We shall see. Okay,
So this covers the primary slides. Like I said, I do have some supplemental. And again, we can go through this quicker, but I kind of wanted to share some other interesting numbers. At least I think they're interesting. So this is a look at your current, or again, what will be for 2027 breakdown by type. So
good. This is what I want to see.
so you can see, again, 30, obviously commercial is 30. You can see the number of homestead there,
Does
2000.
Does this take in, sorry to interrupt, does this take into consideration projects that we know will be complete that aren't currently on the roll?
This is not. This is exactly from the property appraiser as it stands
It's not
right
an
now.
actual 2027,
Well,
because we'll have stuff.
again, this is the numbers that will be used for your 2026, 2027 budget.
Okay,
When you get into calendar year 2027, you'll get a whole new set of numbers.
So we're 80%.
This is where it stands right now.
Yeah,
Yep. So 80%.
We were more than 80.
I did too.
And again, I just thought this is very interesting to see the breakdown. And again, always commercial and industrial. Those are kind of the ones that you want to see, all of them you want like to see growth to this, but it's not all growth is created equally.
And these have different rates, different,
They don't have different rates, but what I've summed up is the total market values and taxable values in each of those buckets.
but they all get taxed at the same millage.
They're going to get the same, everybody would get 4.6.
Got it.
Well, a property, so for agricultural, you're saying there's 6. Oh, 6 what?
probably
Six parcels.
6 lots.
6 parcels, that
Mhm.
has nothing to do with acreage.
No,
No.
but but what you need to know is of that, you have, what is it, 1.2 million of taxable value. So it's a very small.
That's gotta be the solar field,
So
right?
And I think
Oh.
Minto has some too.
under 8 vacant property, there's 848 vacant parcels. But that could be a lot that's been created that doesn't have a home on it yet.
Oh, that's most certainly. it
Or it
is.
could be some of these large parcels like the downtown piece.
Well, I, just so you know, it's a great question. Anything that was vacant commercial, I put into commercial for you. So you could see the split.
Okay,
So that truly is vacant property related to residential. And the interesting part now, if you go to the next slide here, this is going to show your change year over year. So the number of vacant parcels went down by 377, and then residential went up 643, commercial went up by 4.
wait, the number of vacant residential went up?
The number of single family went
How
up.
is that? Because more things got platted?
So yes, exactly. So
That
the
makes
vacant's going to keep, and that'll keep happening. Your vacant will
Yeah.
keep going down, single will go up.
Until they get sold and then they go back down. Is there what about unplatted land? Is that a separate line item here?
Unplatted land would not be on here.
Got it.
It's got to have a parcel number in order to be on here.
So there's quite a bit of unplatted land still, from what I understand, right?
I'd have to take a look at that because that would be more of the engineer question.
Yeah, but
They
they,
replat them if they come to us.
So
They're usually-
one could turn into 20.
Yeah.
And that's what you'll see.
Okay.
But there should be in the vacant piece. because you
Every
could have
property
everything.
out there.
But
has
the
a
market
tax
value
number on
probably
it.
is gonna change.
Oh, yes, for sure. Market value will go up.
Oh,
Yeah,
Land
which
is
is the
like-
building or something.
yeah, a piece of land, that's 100,000 divided by 10, it's gonna be
Yeah.
10,000 per
Yeah.
piece. So,
But changes the value. Okay.
And then I did get the breakdown from them in terms of the new parcels, new construction. So residential accounted for 225, almost 226 million of new taxable value. Commercial was 38 million. Like I said, I thought it was kind of interesting to see. You had asked about this as well, Mayor. This is kind of what Scott brought to the table in terms of the projects.
Okay.
Can't go wrong with the Cold Stone ice creams, by the way.
Before.
Those are like.
Juniors was given a temporary C of O.
Chase for the, yeah, they're open.
They are
Yeah.
open.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
I went there last week.
Oh, they did a nice job.
Why did you? Mavis Tire,
I think
Cold
it's been my
Stone,
brother for some
Goodwill.
time.
So we're not expecting Lowe's to be done.
He's here for the month.
No, I'm definitely on that one. For January, but we are expecting Chase. How does that, take Dollar Tree for instance, who, you know. That space was existing. It wasn't, because it wasn't open for business, it wasn't being taxed, or taxed at a different rate? How does that work?
Improvements.
Oh, excuse me. So what it will work out if it's just vacant land? It's gonna get
It was
taxed at a very
a
low.
piece of a plaza that's been up.
Right,
It
but
was
it's
part of,
gonna-
it was part of when Dixie with Aldi.
Right.
It's being converted from one store to another.
Two sides.
it's gonna get its own parcel. And then the taxable value will become material.
Okay.
Oh, because it's a lease space.
So the
Give me the
owner
parcel number.
charges you.
Well, again, every piece of land will have a parcel. Some of it could be at zero taxable value. It's gonna be at the minimum amount. This is when it's gonna become material for you.
But because it's a lease, you're saying, is that what you're saying? If-
No.
It's just one
Yeah.
space out of a shopping center.
If they're leasing a piece of a property from somebody else, that whoever they're leasing it from is gonna get the
Who
taxes.
pays the tax, right?
Yes.
So that's.
So it would be part
Gross
of their
Plaza pays
parcel.
the tax. That really
So
doesn't.
you said every piece gets a parcel number, but if it's a leased space,
It's part of a larger parcel.
exactly.
Yeah.
But there will be tenant improvements that will be showing
That's
us.
what I'm
The
saying.
value will change.
The value will change. You
Right.
material value.
But it's based, it's based on the use. The assessment is based on what you're using the property for.
Okay.
Hey, just to kind of follow up while we're, the mayor just talked about, there's a report that we put out on Friday. And in that report, our last report, we had a thing put out by Chin Moore on the percent build out completed, 59.9%. And so we have platted units remain. These are platted units that are remaining are 697 and future entitled units, 1864. And then, so, I
Yeah.
mean, there's some room. I mean,
No,
we
it's
just need to
great.
know what it's gonna look like, but there's room,
We're
room to grow and kind of,
60%.
Where's Cold Stone going?
hopefully close to my house.
Westlake Farms, no? No, Publix. Publix.
Is that in the Publix Center?
Yeah, that's by, on the other side.
Is that the fast food that's being reviewed right now?
it's food.
I didn't know they were coming.
Yeah, Cold Stone's going in phase B of Publix.
Huh?
I would consider them fast food. They're an ice cream shop.
Yeah, but the planning staff is reviewing the fast food. That's what I was trying to.
I hope it's
connect
fast food.
on the Publix property.
Oh, maybe they have an out parcel.
That's true by the bank.
They do have an out parcel.
Well, we can try to find out.
Yeah.
We had Scott look at this to try to get some
Okay.
questions answered.
Because they
Walmart's going in Walmart.
didn't reveal who it is yet. That's why I'm
Okay.
wondering.
Well, Cold Stone's been revealed. It's been out, so
Yeah, Cold Stone's.
that's probably not it.
Yeah.
I mean, the McDonald's.
No, it's Mission Barbecue. Great. Get hungry now.
I believe this is my last slide here for you. So obviously, you're going to have coming up a discussion and a decision on the millage rate. So like I mentioned, the bottom box that is circled or squared in there, that's what's in your budget. That's what I'm calling the current year millage rate. Obviously, it's both the current year and what we have proposed. I've also provided in here some other options for your consideration. Well, one thing that I think is interesting, I always like to do things in $100,000 groupings. So every 0.1 up or down of your millage rate is, I believe, about 200,000.
Every
0.1
one.
up or down. So to go from 0.4 to 0.5, you can see there the gross tax revenue, which is the third from the end, is going up by, I rounded it, but it's about
Yeah.
200,000.
Yeah.
So when you're having these discussions, say, well, you know, I've only put so many of these things on the page.
Take a picture.
Right.
But you can, you know, see, I put it from 4.4 all the way up to 5. What's important to note, and hopefully I've heard this before, the concept of a rollback millage rate.
We can't roll back because we're growing.
Oh, yeah, but all your public hearings are going to have to talk about the rollback millage rate.
You have to state it.
You have to state it. And so basically what that is, the rollback is the millage rate that you would have to put in place to get the same amount of revenue as you did in the current year, excluding new commercial or new construction. So you'd have to go back to 4.2866.
Yeah, to the very top. To bring in the exact same dollar amount.
Yeah, so I'm not recommending not doing anything other than didn't want a public hearing to be the first time you saw the number or even had us discussing it. I think, you know, one of the things coming up in next year is there is going to be even more visibility on the rollback millage rate in future budgets. You're actually going to have a separate workshop discussion each year moving forward, not this year, on potential 10% reduction. Literally, you're going to have to bring that out and say, okay, what would a 10% reduction look like?
Right.
Again, not having to worry about it now, but certainly,
Yeah.
again, part of the
And that
transparency.
conversation would really come into play when we're fully built out.
So
Because-
you follow 10% reduction in expenditures. Every year we need to do
It's
that.
an
It's
exercise.
an exercise. It's a force
State
cities
is
to
forced
look
to
at
make that
things.
exercise.
Yeah, okay.
But as a growing city, it's impossible to
Like I said,
reduce
Yeah,
by 10% because we have to add.
You have to grow.
and add,
Yep.
We have to grow.
Can you repeat what you were saying about the rollback millage rate? What do we need to do with that?
other than you need to be aware of it.
And state it.
And we have to state it at the
it.
public hearings. And we're going to be basically, if you were to say 4.6 is your millage rate at the public hearing, we would say, yeah, we're going to propose 4.6%. It is 7.31% higher than your rollback rate of 4.2866. That would be stated, and it'd probably be, and I know it's going to be in your resolutions as well. It's an important part of the budget hearing process.
What's the meaning of that, of the rollback millage? rate?
So basically, if you were to do nothing, right, and you said, I want to have the same amount of revenue that I collected in the current year for next year,
Yeah,
what would my millage rate be based on my new taxable values? Because your taxable values are going up,
okay.
therefore your revenue is going to go up. But if you didn't want that to be the case, they want cities to go through that exercise moving forward.
So that's what the rollback millage rate would be.
Yes,
And you're calculating that's what it is?
that's what it is.
Before into it.
Yep, that's confirmed. I confirmed it off of the
And that's without any
new construction.
homestead.
That's, well, yeah, that for, you know,
As of today.
yeah, that's as of today. So
Yeah.
all the homestead stuff is irrelevant right now. But the taxable value is already less whatever you currently have homesteaded, so there's no more surprises in that number. But yeah, that's basically what that would be. And that's why I wanted to discuss it today, because when you get to your public hearings, it's probably not the best time to be hearing about it for the first time.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's always good to bring it up during the first workshop.
And the state just requires it.
Yeah,
Doesn't make sense, like the mayor said, but it's a requirement.
As we physically adopt the millage rate, it has to get stated.
Stated
and read into
properly.
the record.
it has,
Yep.
exactly.
And the percentage over the.
Over the rollback rate, it has to be
Read into the
stated
record as
properly
well.
in the resolution. That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, that is all of my slides.
That's fine.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Stephen.
Very well done. Thank you.
A lot of numbers, right?
That was a comprehensive presentation, and I think it's
Can we get a copy of your PowerPoint?
Everything is already, I think,
We can send it to you.
Yeah.
Call you
Okay.
guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right.
Good.
So, here's where we go from here. All right. Okay. So, obviously, this process starts, in April, right? And so I hate to say this, but we need to start thinking about the millage rate.
Yep.
I think the millage rate should be at 4.6.
You think it should be what?
The same as it is, the same as, we're not increasing it.
I'll tell you now, I will never, ever vote to raise it.
Right.
You could call me crazy. I would even be inclined to lower it even the tiniest amount, like 4.55, 4.55 or 4.58, something like that. I say this every single year, budget time, almost as a symbolic gesture. But we can't lower it significantly, not.
You mean increase it, increase.
I'm definitely never gonna vote to increase it.
Right.
Period. We can't do any kind of substantial tax cut knowing that we have the potential of losing almost $3 million worth of revenue over the course of the next 2 years. We have to be able to stand on our own 2
Yeah.
feet as a city, and that would drastically impair our ability to do so.
Or cut services.
Or cut services. I would be in, I would love to see us, even if it was 4.59, I would love to see us
Yeah.
lower it as a symbolic gesture, and I bet we'd be one of the only cities to do so in the county. But I definitely would never, ever vote to raise it. Personally, I can only speak for myself, period, end of story.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
it would be, for me, I would be objective and wait to hear all the facts before I make any statement like that. Because I don't think it's fair. I mean, we have a community to serve. We have a lot of variables to look at, and we don't have the information at this point to make a I would make a statement like that.
Well, I just made it.
I'm saying,
I'm not gonna raise, I'm not gonna vote in favor of raising the millage rate.
Because you can always, now, we're just talking, okay? We're just having a discussion here. It's
Yeah.
workshop. So, you can always set it right at 4.6. It's the proposed millage rate, right? And then you could lower it, throughout the process, we could lower it. But we need to, but it's coming up pretty quick. So, I don't want you guys to get hung up
It's gonna
on July 16th.
15th.
Right.
Or 16th.
16th, yeah. And so I don't want you guys to get
Yeah,
there and say, well,
I
wait a
just want to be
minute.
fully transparent, and I want my colleagues to hear it from my head is. I'm never gonna vote to raise it.
well, I wouldn't raise it either, but I'm gonna wait till I hear all the facts.
So I think what I hear you saying is let's just leave 4.6 is kind of our starting. We can
On
go
the six-
lower.
And
but
and we can, and
Propose.
then we can go, we can start there at 4.6 and work our way down. If, because I mean, I know, I hear the sensitivity here. I understand. I mean, I understand. And
I
so,
get the symbolic point. I understand your point. But also, let's break it down to a dollar
Yeah,
amount
let's
for
be-
each.
I would love
For
to see
each,
what 4.58 or 4.59 actually equates to in
Okay.
dollars.
As we're talking, saving it on $100,000 value of a house, like how much is it? Or $1 million value of a house? What's the average?
I would love
property
to see
value,
it
because
direct
I think the
impact of
amount-
budget. Is it 10 grand? Is it 5 grand? Is it?
But I think the
$5,000.
amount of money that each individual parcel would save is so
Yeah.
minuscule. But then we also have to keep in mind, we have a $600,000 match that we have to make. We also have a upcoming city hall that we have to build out. There's other things.
That 2 million.
Part, but.
I'm sorry?
200,000 for the,
the match
Yeah.
for the.
The 20, I think it's 25,
circulator,
whatever it
match
is.
for
Well,
the-
there's other things that we have to do. And if we start thinking about cutting a little here, a little there,
Of course.
as
What
far
we
as the
do-
millage
what we
rate,
do
then
is
we're
go
gonna-
through the budget, line by line by line, and see where we're gonna,
Mhm.
where we need to allocate
Yeah.
more, where we need to take away, and see where we actually land. But I'm
Okay.
happy to be objective.
so we're doing that
oh,
now.
we know.
Do we want to do it now?
Do what,
We
Mayor?
can do it now.
Go
We can
line
run
by
through the
line
budget.
and see where we want to cut.
I mean, you could, it's a workshop. I mean, this is what you guys
Do it
do.
now, or we do it again on 15th. It's one or the other.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, this would help if they come back with some other numbers, if we're
Yeah.
looking at cutting anything.
All right, so let's,
Adding to something.
let's go one by one. Should we start with expenses?
Yeah, we'll start on
Or do we want to
Page-
start?
8,
8. Expenditures.
maybe part of page 7.
What's the revenue?
Okay.
I would put it on expenditures. So my first one was legislative expense. For 2025, it was 36,000. 2026, we went up to 75,000, but we're proposing to keep that the same.
And that
That's
is,
just the budget. That's not, we're not spending that.
Huh?
We haven't spent that. We
Right,
haven't
that
spent
was saying, what is our actual?
36, isn't it?
No, that's 2025. What is our actual spend for legislative expense
And-
for
and-
2020?
and legislative
Okay.
expenses is what, the
25,
lobbyists?
Okay, so that's well, legislative expense is also you guys, okay?
Okay.
And so, you know, I don't think we have the financial statements coinciding with the budget here. So,
Okay, so that's something I would want for the 15th.
okay,
We usually have
Okay.
that,
okay,
that we can look at a year to date where we are.
Exactly.
okay.
So by the 16th, that's what we need to know. What we're
Okay.
actually spent, what we've
Right.
actually spent.
Right.
Okay,
Because we usually can compare 2025, 2026, and then,
okay,
Well, so we spent 36,025.
we budgeted 75,000.
No, that's,
This is
Yeah.
the lobbyist, right?
No,
I don't know.
this is travel.
no,
All right, so a couple things are missing.
okay,
What we need to know is budgeted for 2025, which isn't on here, and then actual.
Why do we need to know what's
We don't
budgeted?
need
Because I wanna know.
budget on that, so either.
We did this exercise a year prior. I want to know if we came in below our budgeted amount, above our budgeted amount. If we exceeded expectations, if we, you know. And then the explanation of why we increased it to 75.
Right, right. And then looking at leasing the building, is that because we're planning on leasing additional space? That's going from 14.5 in 2025 to 176,000.
Well, this is what we budgeted last year because we thought
Right.
we would
That's right.
potentially have to lease a space.
Right. But
Which
how much
obviously
of
we
that
didn't
have
spend.
spent on our
The
$200
numbers
a
are
month?
here.
We did.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know.
We didn't spend
So
it.
we definitely need our.
Yeah, so
actuals.
those figures we need to know. We need to know
Yeah,
what was,
we can put both columns in there.
what was actually spent, what was
Mhm.
budgeted, and for the year before.
Mm,
Because we definitely had that information last year.
mhm.
Without having that, it's difficult.
Yeah. Because we need to know what we spent.
235.
Now, what's the miscellaneous event expense?
Is that all the events throughout the year?
miscellaneous
July
events.
4th and
Auxiliary
Yeah.
So, but what we don't have, which is just something to know, is what sponsorships brought in. I guess that would be on a different page, but
So that's supposed to be part of our
We're gonna,
discussion about the Fourth Fest and all of our events too.
now why is events under legislative?
we plan on having that on the agenda for the 16th
Okay.
to go over that. And I think there will be some sponsorship information also
Can do
contained
that.
there.
Why,
Yeah.
why do we have events under legislative budget?
Well, you know, that's probably your practice. It's something you probably did last year. And so this is set up to just carry over what you did the previous year.
Okay.
And so events, you know, I'd like to say that.
Mr. Manning, can we break that out to special events?
I like that better.
Just put it.
Yeah.
It looks like the council
And
spent
then.
$674,000.
Right, yeah.
I would also like to see it broken down into what event we're spending what on. So
Correct.
July
That's
4th
what I
costs this
said.
much, Spring Fest costs this much.
Yeah.
Because if we want to cut one event or
And
something.
ideally,
Discussion we were supposed to have anyway to
Yeah.
determine going forward, do we want 4 events, 2 events, or just one
Right.
event?
all right, so
But we need all those numbers.
if my colleagues agree, I would like to move events out of legislative.
Yes.
And give them their own category. And then I would also like to have appropriately on the revenue side, what the sponsorships were for each event. So we can see what events potentially pay for themselves, close to pay for themselves.
Well, they're only showing 10,000 in revenue for special events
I don't know.
for this year, 10,700.
Doesn't sound right.
No, you,
Yeah,
let's,
so-
let's just go one at a time. Miscellaneous events expense. You want it out of the city.
Out of the
council's budget.
legislative.
Out of
And then on
the,
the revenue side, we need to be able to isolate the sponsorships
Mhm.
money that goes towards those events.
So event sponsors was
So-
30.
Yeah, it'd be the whole other section.
Mhm.
So that we can, and if we could break it down per event.
It sounds like
If
what I
possible.
asked for.
The,
I'm gonna put it into a marketing category, special events or marketing.
I don't know.
Thank you. Mm.
just, I think just breaking it out, special events is-
Like,
there could be a marketing section on.
that's what I'm saying, because there may be other marketing activities that we do too.
We will, because this too much information we're gonna be needing before we can get to, anyway, we're just sidebars over.
All right.
Can you explain the difference between council expenses and legislative expenses? What is the two categories and what would flow into each?
are you guys able to look into the, I guess, I don't see any computers here. So I was gonna say, no, the, you know, the way the budget is organized, it coincides with the accounting system. and
Yeah.
They should be able to go in and look at that line item and see what it is. If it's coded properly, it'll tell you what it is. Um, I would say that the council expenses is probably travel and training, right?
Then what would be the legislative expense?
I
Right.
thought that was.
Where do you see legislative
Well, it's under
expense?
Professional services, legislative expenses.
Oh, yeah. That might be the lobbyist.
Lobbyist, that's our lobbyist, okay.
Lobbyist.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
more than paid for himself this year.
And wasn't
And we
the
did-
grants person in there too? Or did we have a separate?
I didn't know we had a grants.
Oh,
Yeah, we do.
it's actually down here in finance. It says grants. Well, that's, no, it's not.
That's what,
I think
Oh,
we
that's,
put the grants person if we ever needed
Which we
it.
didn't spend, yeah.
Yeah.
so you hired a grants person before?
No, we had the money in there in case we.
Well, just in case. I see. Well, I think you should leave it in the
Yeah,
event
no,
There's
that,
firms out there that, you know.
that can do
might
it.
get to that
No, I'm
point.
not recommending taking it out, especially with, now that we finally got appropriation, how do we manage that? The
So-
reporting requirements and all that, is that gonna be?
Yep, so it depends on the bus circulator or the Go West
Right.
extension. That's gonna be easy because that'll be managed by Palm Tran. And so they'll be assisting us with that. And,
Right.
and
Which
then,
may not even exist.
right, exactly.
We have to, they may go to a different format, they may give vouchers, they may. do
we'll
something
see.
else.
I worked with Mr. Maldonado, the executive director
Yeah.
of Palm Tran, so your guy.
Good,
And so
good.
it should happen quickly. On the park improvements, I'm certain that that's going to be a combination of effort between us and Sid, right?
Right, and we also
Mhm.
don't know if they were able to achieve the FODA.
Okay,
the
yeah,
FODA.
so,
So that's more money that might go,
To the park.
yeah, which I don't believe required a match.
well, we'll see.
It's a capital outlay budget of 75,000. What was that for?
You know, that could be
Under
desk
city
chairs, that could be, well, I don't know what that was.
I got
was
the
looking for
impression it was
money.
like a contingency,
Okay.
because there was no spending on it and there was no spending on it the year before.
Do we have a few areas that we may be able to pull from?
Is there anything where we significantly went over budget? See, that's, I
Well, we
don't,
don't
I don't
have
like
to-
this format. Yeah, I don't like this format because we can't see actuals.
Right.
We need to be able to see if we underperformed, overperformed, came in under budget,
Right.
if we were fiscally responsible, if we
Yeah,
just-
I think we,
Pull up
The lead money.
Financials up, put them up there. That was submitted, isn't there a May or?
I mean, that would certainly be helpful to have for a budget conversation.
Same day.
Sure. I won't have the 2025 budget, but if that's possible.
Well, just before by the next meeting, we need to physically have that.
Oh, yeah,
as
for
a
sure.
line item.
We'll put that in.
Please.
So I know we're going line item by line item, but is there anything that you guys have been thinking about that should be in the budget? Something that you haven't discussed with your colleagues? Maybe this would be a good time if you can remember what you think should be in
Finally
the
got my
budget.
app.
Well, you said the
What
marketing,
we want to accomplish.
well, you said the marketing program for Happy. I mean, that's pretty straightforward, right?
Yep, let's
I
make
mean,
sure there's a marketing
Strategic
budget.
plan, say, because, and I always go
Well-
back to this, so we
Well,
spent for days creating a strategic plan. And my thought is this budget needs to support whatever it is we said we're gonna do over the next year. So what is the strategic plan? And we probably need to bring that on the 16th as well.
Yep,
So we
and
can look to see, is there something else here, like you're saying,
Yeah.
that we
Yes.
didn't outline or
So-
budget for, that we want to accomplish over
Yes.
the next year?
so we plan on having an update to the council on August 4th on the strategic plan. And on that same agenda, we plan on putting some items on the agenda that was discussed in the strategic plan, like this traffic reader,
LPR.
Speed
the
cameras.
speed,
zones.
the speed stuff,
Okay.
the,
Those should be revenue generating.
Yes, but
Yes, they can.
the
Wellington's
statute,
cleaning
yeah, but the
up.
statute actually stipulates on what you could spend it on. So
Yeah,
it has to be
revenue
law enforcement
generating.
purposes. So
Okay,
Yeah.
it's been a lot. Let's take a
They
big.
got my husband a couple of times. and
So we'll-
He's like, really?
so we'll have the vendor in your strategic plan. You said you want the vendor to make a presentation to you. So we'll have a
Okay,
vendor come in and make a
great.
presentation on August 4th. It's already been set up. We haven't done the item yet.
There's just one vendor who does that?
there is more than one. There's one significant vendor within the state of Florida that does a lot of them. That's
Okay.
very, but there is more than one.
Yeah, the plan just said, have a vendor come forward. So yeah. Oh, the plan just says, bring a vendor in here to present.
Right.
And so if the council says, hey, look, I think I like this organization, let's do something. They are all over the state. We can piggyback on an existing contract and bring that person on board
I'll
quickly.
defer to our law enforcement
Yeah.
expert.
And then we're doing some of the stuff right now. We're kind of building the plan as we're flying it, council member, about on the 16th, we'll be discussing this variations of leasing versus
Staying where we are.
staying where we are or one of the other options. Yes.
When do we start getting into investment planning?
Investment planning, well, we're going to have the financial department provide us with a policy, a draft policy that we could look at. There's a number of them out there. Some of them can be as thick as you want it, or they can be as small as you want it.
And this is a policy, and then we work from there.
We can start out, you can start out small, you don't have to go and create an investment policy so you can go out and get a general obligation bond, but you can have a policy that says, hey, you only invest 20% in commercial paper, 10% in this, or whatever the case may be. And so
Understood.
we can get to that.
Well, and what about our cost recovery policy?
And so that's in the works right now.
It's in the work?
Yeah,
The cost recovery policy, we're talking about the over expenditures in planning and building.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So right now, what I'm thinking is that we have to increase the rates in order to pay for those services. Okay.
Without having the actual figures,
I mean,
it's very
but
difficult.
based on the numbers that we saw from Mr. Bloom,
Yeah.
You won't
with
be
the
able to
cost
do it.
recovery, we should be able to save a good $200,000 or more.
Yeah, they pay for their services on the planning and zoning side. It's going to be a little bit more challenging because there's a couple of other bills out there related to the population thresholds. So
Oh,
we just have to look at every,
Miscellaneous
bill.
expenses,
So on
95 on a budget of.
the investment for the modulars on the property that we're looking at getting, that would include not only administrative staff, but also a meeting place for council meeting.
well, yes, and we need to discuss that at the July 16th. It's going to be on the agenda for July 16th.
Well, just looking at the May 31st budget expenditures, we actually are doing very well. We're under in almost every category except miscellaneous event expense.
And again, we don't know what the sponsorships bring in, and I guarantee you it's nowhere close to that.
Yeah, you did bring in something, but it wasn't substantial, but you did bring in something.
Also, this miscellaneous expense, but that's minimal.
Question.
So what more do we want to do tonight?
You just want to discuss, things that are burning right now. I
Yes,
mean,
I would-
it's supposed to be our kickoff.
Can we email me these so that I can?
No, maybe up to this.
No, I know, but it's up here now.
31st you have you're gonna have in your meeting.
I know, but I want one to look at between now and then.
It came from our staff.
If I could have one that I can just,
They said they're gonna send it to us.
Well, it's on the agenda for July. Well,
16.
you can get it. It's public.
I just want to see it before that, so I can.
I
Absolutely.
think it's hard to sit here.
You were gonna say something, Vice
So
Mayor?
I just wanted to. So it's not messy on the 16th.
Yeah.
Because we're adopting the tentative millage on the 16th.
Right, for Trent.
I almost want to have another workshop if we can. What days, that week?
Yeah.
We gotta, because if we're gonna be doing that in a budget meeting, hammering out more line items, it's gonna look a little messy, and then to have them printed right in front of us to have
Not
new,
wrong.
I think
Yeah.
we should have another workshop.
Okay, so, this is what I thought could happen. Okay, this happens typically when we're late in starting the budget process. Okay, and what I can tell you this is they worked hard putting these dates together. It is a logistical issue and it is an attendance issue. It's what has created the tentative budget count you have now. Now, well, it's definitely your prerogative. I mean, we'd have to look at it, but let's talk about that now, about when could we have
We do the same
this
day
budget
like we were
workshop.
proposing.
We
earlier.
can, but at that same, so
That,
it's a public meeting, so how is the public gonna have the fresh
Oh,
documents?
right.
It's not published, it's not, we're adopting the budget that night, so
Earlier, like you're saying, have a
Yeah.
budget meeting at
the same day,
4 o'clock.
so they would have, but
Yeah, but then you
does
have to
that
go
work?
print everything.
print it, and then is that public records, an issue with law?
Everything
is
that we
not-
do, everything that we're doing is public.
No. That night, if we had a workshop at 4:30,
Well, I think that
that's
night,
kind of, because
that-
at 6
that-
o'clock, how we can have all the stuff for keeping the public to say, okay, these are all the numbers, we changed them.
yeah, I know, I understand.
I'm
The-
okay
the-
with meeting ahead of time if we can.
Well, I think
I
that,
think it would be wise.
I think that date, the July 16th date is full.
No,
We started,
keeping the
we started,
16th
we
unless
started,
we're
we started at
4:30.
3 o'clock.
No,
No.
exactly.
August, that's
That's August.
I thought that was.
That's August.
Our first meeting's at 5:30.
No, I'm talking about maybe meeting like the 9th or something.
Or I'll be gone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the reason we have the 16th.
I'll be
is
back
because
on the
we'll be-
12th.
We have people that's out.
14th hard.
About Tuesday,
14th.
Council, if I can just add, so the July 16th meeting, we only have our regular city council meeting. So if you needed to meet
Worst
prior
case, we'll
to,
do a workshop before that.
At
but I'd
4:30.
rather, to the vice mayor's point, have everything printed and it'll be a little sloppy in order to
No,
workshop it and then vote.
Yeah, I don't think it's sloppy. I know this is a clean budget. I mean, the
Yeah.
numbers are the numbers and it's laid out. We just need to present it, discuss it, and get this information to you right now, like before the end of this week, maybe tomorrow, as soon as we can, so you can start getting it. It's logistics, really. I mean, if you don't want to do it the same day, we'll just have to look at our calendars and figure out another day.
I mean,
So-
we could look at it now. What's everybody's schedule on? the
Well,
14th?
it all depends on what the building is about.
Understood.
Yeah.
but
Right,
I can
right.
find that out on the fly
Yeah.
very quickly.
I'm good that whole week.
What's your 14th schedule?
I'm open.
Lisa?
6 o'clock would work.
On the 14th?
Yes.
Not before.
Huh?
Not before.
6 PM on the 14th?
They don't like me driving up the turnpike with lights and sirens and horns. From the south, it's okay.
Councilwoman Leonard?
Charlie.
Are we good for
What's
the
the large
14th?
schedule on the 14th? Question.
14. Oh,
I don't have a calendar.
We can hope.
Just put it down for now and then I'll.
Well, we have to see if the lodge is available.
Yeah.
Are we penciling it
I'll
in
be
for the
able to
14th?
tell you.
In a moment, I'm waiting to hear back from the lodge. I just texted the director.
I guess worst case, 16th, we could do it 4:30 before our planning. and
Well,
zoning.
yeah, worst case,
Worst
about
case.
on the 16th. Are you
I'm
available?
taking off that day, so yeah.
Okay, got it. Not taking off a minute. Steve.
Can we
No.
bring a portable printer here?
So you're saying 4:30?
For the council meeting.
Or,
No, I think that we can,
We're gonna change numbers and.
no, I think we can get I think we can get the stuff to you
I
guys.
think we
So-
can manage it.
why don't we do that? Why don't we just lock in the 14th? I mean,
We all
16th,
have to be here?
the 16th.
It's a workshop. It's another workshop, right?
And can we check the 14th and 15th?
Yeah, I'm waiting in here on the 14th.
Okay.
I'm waiting to hear back. Okay, should we,
This,
Is there-
this is hard to do.
It's hard to do.
We can't do it.
without all the numbers?
I mean, we got pretty lean last year.
No, I know we did, but I'd like to know where we're,
Yeah.
like, I didn't know that we were 95,000 over in terms of events. You know? It helps to be able to see the data.
Mhm.
We can't make decisions without the data. And there may be line items that. Now, is there anything that,
I just have a quick question. The miscellaneous event expenses, the adopted budget is 254. The year-to-date budget, why are we at 54 instead of 130 something? Because we're almost halfway, we're over halfway through the year.
Yeah, that's
So-
that's the way they set it up.
Yeah.
I'm just curious why, you know, can we bring an explanation as to why that
They
differential?
obviously calendarized it
Right.
heavily to the back end of the year would be the only, but I can.
Yeah,
we can
like,
pull those.
I get July 4th is probably a heavy
July 4th is
lift
the
for
biggest
us.
expense by
Yeah,
far.
but
I think it's that, but I think
the miscellaneous event.
the council members probably used
Because
to
it looks
looking at
like-
a different type of budget. That's why he's looking at that. And I see the same thing. This is just their methodology and how they present the budget, but
I get it. I'm just curious
Right.
because is that all gonna even out at the end of the year is what I'm saying. It looks like we're over by a certain amount by, you know,
Right.
Right.
but is it really gonna all even out at the end of the year?
I think to what the city manager is saying, when I look at this, I don't get a lot of value with out of the year-to-date budget column in general.
Right.
And so that might be the answer, is not to put that column into your financials. So you can focus more on your annual adopted budget and where you are year-to-date.
Yeah, I would rather see that broken down by event.
Oh, yeah, and that's, yeah, I mean, again, we can move the events out to its own.
Yeah,
department.
for sure.
Yeah.
I would love to hear from staff. I mean, you guys know what's going on behind the scenes more than the council does. Is there any items here that you think we could really work on or improve on or?
you know, I mean, I think this is a small budget, guys. And so I think what you're doing right now is exactly what you should do. Look at it, scrutinize it, do exactly what you're doing. We know what we're going to spend here the next couple of years. You've already decided that we're going to go either build a city hall, right? Or lease modulars. The events, all this stuff will be fleshed out on what we're going to spend on, you know, in the next year or two. And so other than, and everything is in companies. So, right. So, you know, it's really clean. It's not like you got personnel, OPEB, retiree medical, and some other stuff. You don't have that here. So
Yeah.
it's easy budget to look at. So
Can you go through the budget with Infomart and sharpen the pencil and knowing what you know so far?
I mean, we can. I mean, it's, you know, I'm used to looking at this and I recognize that you guys aren't, okay? And we can parse out this data as you want it. You know, I think for next year, what we should do is put all the stuff in departments. So that way you can see functional,
Right.
More data is better than.
a program budget that kind of explains what's going on. Here, it's good, it's laid out, it's clean, you can see it. But this looks more so like a financial statement to me, other than the public budget. Okay. And so, but we can work on that for next year. I didn't want to cause too much disruption because it's a easy, clean budget. It's clean.
I mean,
It's
listen,
clean. It's clean.
we know we run an incredibly lean city. That's not what's up for discussion, really. It's just trying to anticipate what's going to happen in the next 2
Yeah.
years, and how do we provide the best services for our constituents, and also give them the best value. We
Right.
have to be good stewards of the tax dollar.
Yep. And Mayor, we got a budget for the state appropriations we just got. So we got to make sure we got the match money.
Right,
and
but
the
that
budget for
should be
that.
already in here, because we were anticipating it last year and we didn't.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So
Yeah.
there should
So-
be a line item already for both of those
Okay.
figures.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but it should be in here.
It's 25% of the 202, and then it's 50% of the 600.
Yeah, and I think we put a full 600. I thought it was 100. We had the potential of it being 100% match, so I could swear that last year we put in a full 600 and a full, unless we considered taking that from reserves. I don't recall. But
It's not.
it should be.
So if you boil this budget down that Mr. Bloom presented and ignore for the sake of our discussion tonight, the homestead proposition, and what would be our net result at the end of the year based on the budget?
So based on this budget, you're gonna have a surplus of over 3 million in the general fund.
And how would that compute in terms of calculating a proposed millage rate?
Well, you have to first decide if you're comfortable with that number.
Understood.
So that's, if you're comfortable with that number, then your rate is 4.6, because that's what's in your budget.
Right.
Now, if you decide you want to lower that, which again, I wouldn't recommend that, certainly not at the beginning of this process, but as you're going throughout the process into you have an August 4th workshop, that might be a good time to talk about that, but then you would decide, do you want to lower it to 4.5? Do you want to lower it to whatever? And then we would take that out and your reserve would go down. But
So you're
again,
saying his budget is based on a 4.6 millage rate,
Yeah.
gives us a $3 million surplus at the end of the year. As the mayor said, we've been running a pretty lean operation and efficient operation.
Yeah, I mean, we have no debt, right? The city of Westlake has zero debt, not an ounce of debt, which is amazing. Obviously, we will when it
With the
comes to a capital, city hall, we'll have to figure that out. But
Do we have numbers for putting the portables up next year
We ha-
and?
We have
Those
estimates.
numbers?
We have some estimates that's in the packet for the 16th that you'll see on
Is
this.
that reflected in this budget?
Not yet, because we're still discussing it. There'll be a number of things that will be added between now and September 8th.
So,
You got the light post, you got.
so the things that you know that we've been contemplating and are near a decision, can you fold those into this budget?
Yes, we will.
Okay.
We will.
And stay at a 4.6 with a $3 million.
We'll see.
well, we have to.
I think we should, but.
If we're
it's
adding
not-
more into reserves based on the uncertainty
Yeah.
of the future,
Yeah.
which I think would be very, very prudent to do.
Right.
But I'm telling you now, I'm not gonna vote to raise the military.
So you say July 14th, right? July
That's
14th.
what I'm saying. I'm only speaking for myself.
Can we do the 15th?
Way to go, Charlotte.
It's up, yeah, if they can get the room.
Okay.
I prefer
checking now.
not being the same, just to make it,
I got it.
so it's published right.
Yeah, no, it's no
It's on the website.
no doubt. See, I know that this is what happens when we deal with the council members. We try to have,
She's checking. the
we
14th.
call it the tentative budget calendar,
She's checking.
because what's happening right now is what's happening right
checking.
now.
Okay.
I think it's better if we separate them out.
Yeah, I would love to have a different day. I think we need it. I agree with the vice mayor.
Otherwise, the budget portion on the 16th will be
Mhm.
hours. I'd rather have it.
And if I could get as soon as possible with the new columns
Yeah, as soon as,
Because I'll review it way in advance, you know?
right.
4.55 and 4.
Yeah, I just want to know what those dollar amounts
It's
are.
20,000.
20 grand? Yeah, so.
You go just so everyone know from the 4.6 to 4.59 is 20,000.
Oh, to 5.9.
Yeah. Okay. July, right? Yes.
July 14th.
7/14.
We should take public comments if there are any.
That's a workshop. I guess we can. You do that.
From our one member.
Are there going to be any council comments? Can I skip them? All right, any city attorney comments? No. Any city manager comments?
None, other than
No.
July 16th is our next meeting,
So,
unless I'm sorry. not-
okay, so
unless we-
what time on the 14th of July?
Oh, we're good for the 14th?
It was 6, right?
14th as a half.
Can we,
6
can
o'clock.
we do
we
5 o'clock?
Discussed.
Yeah,
No.
can we do 5?
No, we can't do 5, 6 p.m.
Oh, we can't do 5.
6, please.
6, okay, works for me.
All right, good.
I don't want to get a ticket from FHP.
Okay, I'll feel better now that we're doing that.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
Is that all good with you?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
We have a lot to
So,
unpack
I
here.
have nothing like that, so.
Okay. I'm gonna open for public comment. This section of the agenda allows for comments from the public speak. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes to comment. A public comment card should be completed, returned to the city clerk. When you're called, please go to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You may receive a response. You may. Ms. Alicia Torres, Whippoorwill Lane,
Yes, circle.
59.
Hi, yes, Alicia Torres, 5847 Whippoorwill Circle. I barely know my household budget, so please forgive me. So my first question is, as far as the permitting goes, it looks like there's the P and Z issue where we're bleeding, and then our cup runneth over with the Happy program. And I just wondered, it sounded like those permit fees come in, they immediately get split up. Is there a way to change the ratio so that there can be more of a balance?
You mean
I don't
happy?
think so.
Oh,
No, because it's not a percentage. It's a flat $1,500 as built by the housing trust.
Oh,
So it's not percentage based. It's a
Okay.
flat amount. that goes
okay,
in.
and it's a trust.
Yeah.
It's a trust.
All right. I'm just curious, when does commercial start being responsible for paying taxes? Is it when they buy the land, the day of closing? Or is it when the CO is issued?
Well, no, that's not
It's
true. So
assessed.
they pay
It's
based on the value of the land from when they buy the land. And then once something's built,
Okay,
it gets reassessed
right.
and then it's the value of what's built.
Okay, so that leads me to my next question then. I can't remember if it was Detroit or DC, but somewhere I lived, they changed the taxes on vacant residential properties. So that instead of being really cheap, so people just let them go to squalor, it started to become more expensive for them to just remain empty. And so it motivated these landowners, homeowners to like improve their properties. So I'm wondering if, is this like bigger than a city, a municipal decision that we could do as far as like taxing
yeah.
vacant land?
Well,
Or
listen,
yeah,
this is Florida. And so Florida is a lot different than other states.
okay.
And so, that probably wouldn't work here.
Okay, because it sounds like with Aldi, it's the same thing where they aren't super motivated to like lease, sublease
Yeah.
their units.
We,
because-
what she's talking about in other states, there's ways to increase property tax. You can do it. But it's really punitive. It's to get people to upgrade their house and things of that nature. 2 different states, Georgia, but not here. They would-
Same like with universal health services,
Mhm.
there's no way to kind of like get them, oh my gosh, okay, sorry. Oh, okay. And then, yeah, I'm just worried about the Westlake land now that we actually own land, how this will affect like the taxes we pay.
No, it's not taxable.
Government.
No,
It's-
that's what I
it's-
wondered. Awesome. Okay, thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. I had known.
Please turn it off before I-
Thank you for your public comments. If there's no further comment from anybody, I just want to thank staff,
thank
I
you.
know a lot of blood, sweat and tears probably went into this report and this presentation. I certainly want to thank you. I know it's not fun and I know we're behind the eight ball, but
I
I
know,
can tell a lot went into this.
you know, excellent job. I mean, I think they did a good job, but it didn't start out like that. Okay. But thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. I think it was thorough. I think it was enough for tonight. And I'm going to be late at our July 14th meeting,
That's
but
okay.
I'll be here. Okay. All right. Just want you
How
guys to
late?
know. I mean, I got an appointment at that time.
At
So,
5 o'clock.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it's gonna
The
be,
meeting's at
I
6.
was gonna do it, it's gonna be at 6, but that's okay. That's okay. This
Yeah, we'll get.
was gonna be discussed. Yeah, we need y'all here.
Right.
Okay. And so,
Yeah, having that breakdown would be so
Yeah.
valuable. I can't do it without it. So amazing. All right, I will adjourn at 7:50 PM.
all right. So where'd
Okay,
you
thank
go?
you.